Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah and welcome to Introduction about Islam. What is Islam? Before answering this question, we should also ask another question. Why is this question about Islam? Answer: because of the misconceptions surrounding it. I think you will agree with me that majority of the non-Muslims know Islam through internet and different media platforms. Question: does everything the media say about Islam or you see on the internet correct? Of course not. Therefore, there is a great need to answer and clarify this question undoubtedly. In Arabic language, the word Islam has many meanings due to root letters and rulers of the language. Because of this system, the word Islam can be literally described as submission, surrender, peace, and safety. Connection. Islam is the name of the message. Muslim is the name of the person that accepts Islam, and Salam is the Islamic greeting. We greet the people with Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, a prayer which everyone wants to be greeted with. A Muslim is a person who submits himself to the will of Allah. We can achieve peace with Allah, with ourselves, and with the other creations through submission to the will of Allah and accepting His guidance. Allah is the sole creator. Isn't it in the very nature of every human to look to the sky when he is in need and desperate for help? When there is a loss, to cry out to a Lord. When he is in despair, to raise his eyes for help. It is a very innate nature of mankind. Every human has within himself a natural inclination to ask certain questions about the purpose of life. What are we doing here? What is the purpose of our life? Until these questions are answered, a person's soul can never find peace, and life will seem to be pointless and meaningless work. The soul will be in constant chaos of what will happen next. In chapter 29, verse 20, Allah invites man to travel to earth, make his own observations, and reflect on how creation originated. Humans are endowed with the faculties of reasoning, intellect to make observations, think logically, and arrive at conclusions that pave the way to belief and acceptance. This approach clears the obstacles and doubts. Just by reflecting on the vast and wonderful creation around us and contemplating about the world, we will finally come to the conclusion that there must be one designer, one creator of this magnificent universe. What about you? What about your design? What about your complex and complicated organs? What about the function of your eyes, your heart, and your brain, which is more powerful than any man-made machine? Who designed you this way? What about the earth you stand upon? What about the laws of biology, chemistry, and physics? What about the fundamental forces such as gravity, the structure of the atom, and the elements that have been precisely tailored to make life look possible? Look at the earth within the solar system. Life would be unsustainable if the earth's rotation is not exactly correct. Our solar system, our galaxy, is one of the 100 million galaxies in the universe. They are all in order and they are all precise. Instead of conflicting with one another, they are swimming along in an orbit that has been set for them. Did humans set that into motion? Are human beings maintaining that precision? Could this just have come into being by a complete coincidence? It's quite difficult for many to answer the above questions. Yet, Allah answered them in chapter 3, verse 190. Indeed, in the creation of the heaven and the earth, and the alternation of the night and the day, are signs for those of understanding. Allah subjected for the night and the day, the sun and the moon and the stars. The alternation of the night and the day display the power of the Almighty. Have you ever seen a day that doesn't come after the night? And have you ever seen a night that doesn't come after the day? Who causes this order and this system? Who is behind this wonder? Allah is the creator of all, the sustainer of all, the all-hearing, the all-seeing, and all-knowing. He is the most gracious, most merciful, and most beneficent. He is the self-existing and the ever-living one. He is the light and the guide. He never needs sleep or takes any rest. He has no partners, sons, or parents. His knowledge is all perfect. Therefore, all worship must be directed to Him alone. What is the purpose of our life? It's rare to find someone who has not asked himself about this question. What is the purpose of our life? What is the purpose of our creation? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Where are we going to? A group of people continuously come into this world every day, while another group leave it and vanish forever. What is the purpose behind this coming and going? In chapter 3, verse 185, it clearly says that death is not the end and life on this earth is not the ultimate goal. This life is a transit, a preparation for eternal life in the hereafter. Allah will resurrect all on the day of judgment, and all will be held accountable for their actions, in accordance to the intellect and free will honored with them. Mankind has been given the choice to follow divine guidance and reap its everlasting rewards in the hereafter. The purpose of sending prophets and messengers. We clarify that God created everything for a purpose. There is accountability, and there is a reward on the day of judgment. Is it fair to create an object and then allow it to function without any rules and regulations, and finally call it to an account and punish it for breaking the rules? Allah, in His infinite wisdom, decided to send prophets and messengers as a guide for mankind. Prophets were sent to the people to remind them of the need to worship one God and refrain from associating partners with Him. The prophets are not gods, sons, or partners of God, but they are the best of mankind, chosen because of their morals and knowledge of God. Allah sent a long chain of prophets, including messengers who came with the most important message, such as Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Their mission is to guide people to the reformation of their morality, purification of their souls, protection against wickedness, psychological difficulties, and ill treatment, and make them grow through commands and rules which guarantee their well-being and happiness in this world and the hereafter. The messengers give good news and reward for those who accept the guidance, and they warn punishment for those who disbelieve the guidance. Muhammad, the last prophet of this chain. He was born in Mecca around 570 Christian era. He was orphaned at a young age. His father died before his birth, and his mother died 6 years later. His grandfather and his uncle cared for him for the rest of his youth. He was widely respected for his integrity and sincerity. Despite his intelligence, he could not read or write, nor was he skilled in composing poetry, a value of the Arab society at the time. Therefore, the claim that Muhammad authored the Quran is unfounded. God declares in the Quran that Muhammad does not speak from his own desire, and the Quran is a revelation that is sent to him. Islam and environment. In Islam, the relationship between mankind and the environment is based on the fact that everything on earth worships Allah alone. This means that worship is not merely a ritual practice. It's a part of the belief not to damage the environment. Moreover, humans are responsible for the welfare and the sustenance of the other inhabitants of this global environment. Because the animal and plant kingdoms cannot damage or destroy their environment. Islamic values. Islam is a comprehensive and complete way of life. It includes general principles and values. It addresses our worldly and religious aspects of life. It addresses the acts of worship, transaction, and government affairs. It emphasizes the importance of having high moral standards, which have an impact on individuals, families, and societies. This is in order to establish justice and happiness for all people, regardless of their color, race, or language, and regardless of time or place. 5 pillars of Islam. As the pillars and columns are important for holding up the building and its structure and stability, likewise, the 5 pillars of Islam are important to every Muslim. They provide the firmness and constancy to a person's faith and hold Muslims together as a brotherhood. Pillar number 1, Shahada or faith. It is the most significant pillar, declaring outwardly that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. This commitment to Allah means that you accept the belief of one God and that Muhammad was sent as his final messenger and prophet. The result of this makes you part of the Muslim community, which is to help and support you in achieving your goals in life. Pillar number 2, Salah or prayer. It is the relationship between a Muslim and Allah, and it is directed to Him without any intercessor. The 5 daily prayers increase us in the remembrance of Allah, keeping us on the path of good, wiping away the sins. Indeed, prayer prohibits immorality and wrongdoing. Pillar number 3, Zakat, the obligatory charity. As a person looks after himself, Allah commands us to look after people less fortunate than ourselves. The word zakat means purification and growth. The believing person gives a portion of his wealth once a year. In Islam, wealth is a blessing from Allah trusted with the people, so they should use it for the benefit of the society. Pillar number 4, fasting. Every year in the month of Ramadan, all Muslims fast from dawn to sunset, abstaining from food, drink, and marital relations with a clear invitation of doing so for the sake of Allah. Allah commands us to fast in order to seek His pleasure, and by doing so, we raise our levels of spirituality and trying to get closer to Him. When we can change our habits and our daily routines in accordance to divine orders, we truly become the servants of Allah, not the slaves of our habits. By cutting worldly comforts, a fasting person gains true sympathy with those who go without food and water on a regular basis. Pillar number 5, making Hajj to Mecca. If a Muslim has physical and financial ability, Allah has made the pilgrimage to Mecca obligatory, once in a lifetime. The rituals of Hajj date back to the time of Prophet Abraham and they commemorates some of the trials he and his family faced in Mecca. It's also a journey to the Kaaba, the symbolic house of God. Hajj is a time when Muslims from around the world of different races, colors, and languages come together in a spirit of universal brotherhood to worship the one God together. The men wear only 2 pieces of cloth, making them one people without any class or distinction. The rich, the poor, the black, and the white stand side by side. The farewell speech of Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad delivered an important speech in his farewell Hajj, nearly 80 days before his death. This speech is considered first human rights declaration in the world. He addressed the people by saying, "O people, lend me an attentive ear, for I don't know whether after this year I shall ever be amongst you again. Therefore, Listen carefully to what I am saying, and take these words to those who could not be present here today. O people, just as you regard this month, this day, this city as a sacred, so regard the life and property of every Muslim as sacred trust. Return the goods entrusted to you to the rightful owners. Hurt no one, so that no one may hurt you. Remember that you will indeed meet your Lord, and that He will indeed count your deeds. O people, listen to me in earnest. Worship Allah. Say your 5 daily prayers. Fast during the month of Ramadan. Give your wealth in zakat. Perform Hajj if you can afford. O people, it is true that you have certain rights with regard to your women, but they also have right over you. Remember that you have taken them as your wives only under Allah's trust and with His permission. If they abide by your right, then to them belongs the right to be fed and clothed in kindness. Do treat your women well and be kind to them, for they are your partners and committed helpers. All mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. White has no superiority over black, nor a black has any superiority over white, except by piety and good deeds. O people, no prophet will come after me. O people, understand my words which I convey to you. All those listen to me shall pass my words to those, and may the last ones understand my words better than those who listen to me directly. Be my witness, O Allah, that I have conveyed your message to your people. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
إذاعة صوت الإسلام من الدوحة، صوت القرآن وهدي خير الأنام.